Alright, it's been a while, but we finally all found the time to get together to do another video, and as everyone knows, there's been a lot of changes with the patch in Allods as well as another server merge. So in general, let's start off by just talking about the server merge. So what do you guys think about the server merge?
I was expecting it.
The population definitely needed the boost, so it wasn't a surprise to see the merge.
What I thought was interesting too was before this server actually merged, they actually asked all of the players to kind of vote for the name of the server, and ultimately the name was Sihal. Is that how you pronounce it?
I have no friggin' clue.
Sihal, yeah.
No,
Well, can we cut out the casual racism?
Towards what are we being racist to? What nationality? Because if you can really point that out to me, I'd be impressed highly.
What was interesting to me was they actually had like a poll on the forums, as you can see here, and there wasn't very much people voting on it in general, considering this is an MMO game. So what do you guys think? Is that a sign of there's just a lack of a player base, for example?
I'd say there's actually not a huge number of the player base that much care what goes on the forums anyway, so the majority of the player base don't really check it unless they want to go and look for a guide on their class or something like that. And half the ones that do check it frequently are checking it so that they control other players.
Just a quick thing about the forum in general. If you're looking at the new server forum and look up the trade section where it says league trading, there's no post in that thing. No one posted they want to trade anything.
Well, there's one funny thing about this is, as everyone knows, we were talking about before about this Imperial buff, which basically was supposed to, quote, balance out the game or encourage basically more people to go on the inside. And I think as we expressed, we thought this buff was pretty silly. It did nothing but imbalance the game, and I think everyone agrees right now this game is completely unbalanced in terms of the population, in terms of the faction. There's like way more Imperial players than there is League.
It's essentially a buff based around population balancing that doesn't take into consideration the actual population.
I think it's not just a problem of population, it's that specifically the in-game population, the people who are perhaps more interested in PvP and in-game content, whatever else. They are the ones who have been more likely to swap over the people who have already geared up and everything else, and with them gone from the League side, we're left with sort of not a lot to work with.
And what do you guys think, where people like the GMs just give a really basic answer right now saying, nope, it's working as intended?
My ass is working as intended. I have no clue how the server is.
I hope it is Earther.
Allods doesn't have bugs, only features.
Well, even the Russians have admitted that the counting system doesn't work and they're removing it, so for our GMs to be sitting here saying it's working fine and the population is as intended, well, we know that's not, the truth.
So they're basically just one of those, they don't know what to do, so in the meantime just say everything is working as intended?
Normal PR business of the day, I guess.
And I think one of the biggest complaints right now is just bugs. People are complaining that their games are slowing down because of the patch, for example, and it's kind of the same thing. They just said, well, from what I gather,
Work as intended.
It's working as intended, or it's people's computers. It's your fault, basically, if the game is slowing down and so forth.
Rubbish.
It's rubbish because I can run games like Battlefield 3 and max graphics online. And I run fine. This game
I am
lags.
bugged right now. Like, I cannot see any. I have a black screen in front of me. All I see is you guys floating in the air. This is fantastic.
I have some funny examples of, I guess, this bug. For example, usually in this game when you PvP people, there's like examples here where all of a sudden they're just invisible. You just don't know where they are, so it kind of makes it hard to actually play. Or this example where we have a huge raid fighting in Melting Isle. You can see as we come up, it looks like there's very few characters, and then all of a sudden you have 12 people just pop out of nowhere. What did you guys think? Is this more like hilarious, or you find it frustrating?
It's a feature for the stealth-based game players.
It's a game-breaking feature, if you want to call it a feature storm, for anyone who does any PvP. You
just sit
simply
and laugh at this crap.
I just want to know where we go to get the bugs
operate.
to work on our side.
How can you, like, basically whoever had the thing loaded up for him first has the upper hand?
Another funny example is, I guess everyone knows there's a mini game here that's called Goblin Ball. So it's kind of like a soccer, or I guess what other people call football, right? Which one's the right term? Well, in this example here, you can clearly see all of a sudden there's all these demons that are so high level that just came into the instance and they started killing people, and this is definitely not intended, but it makes me wonder if, you know, the people in charge would say, nope, that's a game feature.
I think that's the kind of bug people can put up with a bit more. I mean, we've seen it happen, what, once?
I think if I was playing in an instance and something like that where the demons came in and killed everybody, we had no way of defending ourselves, I'd be so awestruck and highly amused. I wouldn't have a complaint.
Yeah, I'd actually crack up laughing myself.
As long as it didn't happen all the time, because then it'd be an issue.
Overall, how do you guys feel about the competitiveness in the game so far? Because basically the server merge, for example, do you feel it's kind of still dominated by, you know, people that are pay to win, and basically there's not as much competition now? So what do you guys think overall about it so far?
For me, it'd be a combination of things. The server merge, shifting people around, the imp buff, allowing people to change factions, and the buff they have in PvP for Mir is a huge game change, which people are only starting to admit now.
But
Even
we need
in
it.
the beginning, the league side was saying, you know, this is ridiculous and it's going to make PvP kind of stupid. People on the imp side were saying, no, this is good, this is a good thing. And only now they're turning around and saying, oh, maybe it's not.
Basically too short-term thinking, and this is the result.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, the funny thing is, I think everyone notices too, a lot of the people that are pay to win that spent tens of thousands of dollars, because of the lack of population of, say, a more free-to-play player, they're just getting so bored that they pretty much, what do you want to call it, I guess no life, sit in an area with a lot of low-level people, for example.
Well, if you're not doing the in-game content, there's not much else to do.
Right, now one of the cool new features that they had in this game was the introduction of the allod creation. This was actually really belated. I know before you guys seen in the past videos, even people like Earth and I, we had this allod created, but it actually wasn't put in the game yet. And here you can essentially create your own dungeons, which people can also attack, which is, I think, is kind of one of the better features of this game, for the patch rather.
Well, for me, I'd say it's probably the most fun feature they've put out, something really unique. You're able to customize it, you got a lot of different options for how you want to set it up, and the goblins you can put in there to help defend it. It's just a lot of fun.
Thinking about it right now though, I think they are looking for another outlet for cash instead of ruins, because a lot of people at the moment are reaching full 13, and well, not a lot of people, few people, and this is kind of like a side thing to spend money on as well.
Well, see, I don't know about that, because the cash shop influence on the Allod is quite limited. There's items to help people catch up, but beyond that there's one goblin which really isn't even that great compared to others we've seen, which are obtainable in game.
You saying? I have a really high feeling they're gonna like in what do you call it?
Oh yeah, sure, they think in the future, but I mean, for now, it's okay.
I reckon it's bad because how they like how the rating's based. It's basically how many people died your allod, the higher your rating gets basically. So you can just farm it with like, you know, your ults and stuff.
There is no way of abusing or glitching the system.
What glitch? This is totally legit, man. This is how the mechanic went.
Well, how do you guys see the game going for the next few months or so? Think things are gonna get better, or do you think they're gonna get worse?
I think it's like a mudslide. It's creeping slowly downhill, and then eventually there's going to be a rainy season, and boom, crash, houses are in the ocean.
Watery metaphors aside, unless they get the issues fixed, it's certainly not going to get better. I mean, that's as simple as it is. Fix it, and you'll see some recovery. Don't, it'll keep going downhill.
Alright, see you guys next time.